The Now Recording podcast is intended for entertainment purposes only. The opinions, beliefs, and statements expressed by our hosts and guests are purely satirical and should not be taken seriously. We strive to create a humorous and lighthearted atmosphere, and any resemblance to real opinions or beliefs is purely coincidental. Listeners and viewers are encouraged to exercise critical thinking and not interpret the content as factual or representative of anyone's actual views. Our goal is to entertain and provoke thought through humor and satire. The Now Recording podcast does not endorse, promote, or condone any particular beliefs or opinions presented on the show. We urge our audience to form their own informed opinions and seek reliable sources for accurate information. By watching or listening to our podcast, you acknowledge and agree to the satirical nature of the content. If you have any concerns or questions about the material presented, please feel free to reach out to us for clarification. Thank you for being part of our comedic journey. And remember, Now Recording is always recording.
I think I should go to sleep, TBH.
I mean, if you're feeling it, I mean, are you I don't know how to respond to that.
Are you sleepy?
No, but I have to do something later.
I mean, I'd rather have you here for the stream than record an episode.
Alright, bye.
Bye.
We have him recorded, so now he's in the episode. Put him in the thumbnail, boys.
Now recording.
Try not to cuss too much in this episode. Make it as easy as possible.
Well, without Beavers, that'll be
yeah, that's why I had no issue with him leaving, honestly.
For this one in particular, it's
Yeah.
like maybe we don't have the we don't have Beavers being like,
so
now
much.
hold on a second, let's hear it from the others.
I love Beavers so much, but yeah. But I love him. I maintain I love Beavers, okay?
It was really
that.
funny. I was listening to this this swoop video for, I got like 3 hours into it. Unfortunately, I couldn't finish like the last like hour of it just because I ran out of time. But I was listening to a majority of this, and I'm just thinking like I can just imagine Beavers being like, pause it. All right, well, and just like going into like, just like
Yeah.
I don't know this other guy, like I mean like
Not
who's
gonna
to
lie,
say?
I was kind of happy he was not in the audience when I was going over the 2 nights that I went over it. Just saying.
Well, no, he would have liked that. He liked the Johnny episode. Well, he would have liked the Johnny episode because it's one of the accusers being turned out to be a liar.
Yeah.
So Beavers would have been a huge fan. Now we just need to get Adam McIntyre. We'll be good. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, boy.
Hey,
Oh, boy.
come on now.
Yeah, I don't know why it is, but there is something like I will say that like based on what I understand at least about this story so far, I do believe Adam, but at the same time, I don't know what it is, but there's some sort of like a sneaking sort of like weird feeling that I have where I'm just like I don't something feels off.
Something
and I don't get it.
Yeah, it's something about how protective Adam is over this story in the sense that when
I get it. Go ahead.
When Papa Gut was criticizing the story, whether wrong or right in that situation, Adam went for the jugular and said, "What skeletons do you have in your closet?" Insinuating some stuff about Papa Gut. Then a journalist wrote an article that was more, I wouldn't even say pro Colleen Ballinger, but kind of like wasn't an anti Colleen Ballinger. It was very nice. It was a very nice article on Colleen, very respectful in a sense.
Yeah, it was almost like Colleen paid him or something.
Yeah.
It was very nice.
This
to
dude,
Colleen.
and Adam puts the journalist's Instagram, just like his full name on the where his Instagram is, right on Twitter. Oh, this guy is out for blood.
By the way, I found out that was not a personal Instagram. That was actually an Instagram where he promotes his work and his job and stuff like that. Just FYI.
Okay.
I still say don't send your audience there. I still maintain that. But it is not a personal Instagram. It's actually one that he uses for work. He just so happens to put his family members on there. And maybe he shouldn't do that.
What was the intention of that? Like, what was the actual like? Did
what
Adam
he
say
did
why?
was he promoted his article about Adam and the Colleen situation, and he tagged Adam in it. That's how Adam found out about it.
Oh, so he was just kind of returning the favor then, or was
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so it was like a okay.
Because he tagged Adam in it, but he never reached out to Adam for a statement or anything.
I see.
Yeah.
So it was more of a okay. I mean, okay. So then at that point, then Adam made a post and was just like, "Oh, this guy's Insta."
And he was like, go ask him why he never asked me anything.
Oh, well, that's a no. You can't.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. So
Yeah, I get that. Yeah,
but it is
the
better
distinction-
knowing that
yeah.
it wasn't a personal one.
No, and that's fair. I can like. I would say it's bad, but I would say that it's more of a gray area. Yeah, if it was
It's
like it's
vindictive.
personal,
I think
it
it's
is vindictive. Well, and it's weird. It's like definitely very like, hey, like that's sus. You know, it's sus behavior, but it's yeah, it's bad. I don't know. It's just bad.
There's just a couple things Adam's done that's kind of rubbed me the wrong way. The way he did Eugene and Cooney a year ago was weird. Like just stuff like that. Like I'm just kind of like I don't know. And also, you're friends with Cat Tembarge. I don't trust Cat Tembarge. Yeah, I just like.
Yeah, don't be doing guilt by association. Now we're not supposed to be doing that.
I'm not. No, I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying I don't trust you. I'm not saying you're a horrible person.
True, you're not. You're not.
Where is Adam from? Because like I've been trying to pick out the accent, or is that like
Ireland?
Is that
Ireland?
Oh, okay. Because it's like it's like weird because it's like it sounds like I don't want to. It sounds like stereotypical like gay American, but then every once in a while you'll get the like. It's like weird, like when they say you, it's like it's like
Yeah.
weirdly wide.
Irish.
Well, no,
yeah, that
what
makes sense. That makes a lot of
what
sense.
happens is these like people from other countries watch a bunch of YouTube when they're young, right? So they adapt to the American dialect of the people they're watching. So they have more like their accent isn't like as pronounced as you think it is. Like I've heard.
Yeah, I'm not dunking on him either, or
Oh, yeah.
or anything like that. Yeah, it's just interesting.
I've heard like Swedish people and stuff talk about, and they're like their accent is very normal, like not as like pronounced as they would usually be.
I didn't even notice. I mean, honestly, until you told me that, I just would have assumed that he was like Canadian or something. I didn't. I was trying to figure out where that was from. Like, who does you? It's like I can't even reproduce
I
it.
swear to God, bro.
What? I
You're
can't.
so funny.
I'm
You're so
trying.
funny.
How long has Adam been in the community? Because I saw a video of Paige talking to him when he was like pretty young.
He's been around a long time. He was already a content creator come 2020 or 2020 when he had he was creating it. I don't know. I want to say maybe 14, 15 years old. He was, because remember he was in the DMs in the Weenies group chat. I think he was like 14, maybe 15 when that happened, when she asked to see his butt, or she asked to see, or no, he was asking for questions to ask for a Q&A on his channel, and that's when she asked like what sexual position he liked, what's your favorite position, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he's been creating for a while. Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna start this now, and if Mitch comes in, I'm just gonna yell at him. All right.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Matt Pitt. Welcome to Now Recording. With me today is D-Max.
Hi.
And today we have Xylee with us.
Hello.
And apparently Mitch is going to be joining us soon, I think. I don't really know. He said, we said 6. And then as soon as we were about to start, he's like, oh, I'm up. And so I'm like, all right, you coming? He never answers. Then he starts arguing with Beavers in the group chat. And it's been 20 minutes and no Mitch. So we're just going to start without him.
In full disclosure, we had Beavers here, but we told him to leave because of the contents of this episode. We just figured it would just be easier just to edit him out completely rather than having to.
Xylee said Beavers had to go. So
I did not. That is a lie.
Xylee was like, look, I can't be around this guy anymore. It makes me uncomfortable.
Listen, I don't know what I heard. I'm a neutral party with this, all right?
Listen, I know what you being a neutral party means. Thank you. I listened to the podcast. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you for your support.
So, all right. So earlier, a few weeks ago, been about a month, probably month and a half now, we did an episode with Xylee and Eva, and it was about Cody Rants and Adam McIntyre, and mostly about Cody Rants and Colleen Ballinger stuff. And there's been an update. So we figured, why not just go into that? Swoop has made 3 videos on the situation, right, Xylee?
Yes.
So the first video was kind of like an intro to Colleen's accusations and goes into background Adam McIntyre. Second video kind of goes deeper into everything, gives more details. And then this third video, I don't know if it was meant to be made or not. Was she including this as, was the thought process of this going to be like inclusion of Johnny Silvestri, and then it just turned into this?
Okay, well, the second video was supposed to be about the leaking of Trisha's nudes, the article that was written, the ex-writer from Colleen's Netflix show. It was supposed to go into Oliver's story, and oh god, it was supposed to be something about the racist stuff that Colleen would say, and then the interview with Johnny.
Yeah, because there was like behind the scenes stuff of people like cataloging like tons of racist stuff apparently that she had said throughout the time. Yeah.
Right.
That's what it was supposed to be. But then she had the 6.5-hour interview with Johnny. And then Johnny went on to Do We Know Them podcast and H3H3. And then things went ding, ding, ding. Something's not right.
Yeah. Now, who is Johnny Silvestri, Sally?
He started working for Colleen when he was 22. He's actually part of, I guess you would say, the first generation of Colleen Miranda Singh stans. Yeah. So he had been watching her since he was like a teenager. Started working with her on her road crew, when they would do the shows in different venues and stuff like that. And he was walking around accusing her ex-husband Joshua of being a groomer.
Okay.
Yeah, of having groomed him, right?
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah. So what is Joshua's story? Is he like, hey Mitch, how's it going, Mitch?
Hey.
hey, how about when you wake up, you do it on time, okay, buddy? I'm kidding.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Mitch.
I'm gonna cut out the part where you said I'm kidding.
I'm tired, and I don't know why you waited for me.
I don't know either, if I'm being honest with you.
I don't even know what we're talking
about.
about.
You don't know what's going on?
By that I don't mean...
But
I don't know what it is. It's that I literally don't know
You said in the group chat, I asked if everyone's coming. We were all ready to go. We were about to start, and you just said in the group chat, I just woke up. So I was like, oh, wait.
No, I said I'm waking up.
I was like, oh, well, he'll be about 5 minutes, and I'll wait. And then it's like 25 minutes later.
I couldn't get the coffee machine working.
Oh, well, Matt, he couldn't get the coffee machine working. I mean, come on, we've all been there.
All right, well, Mitch, tell us about Colleen Ballinger real quick.
Yeah, real quick. Who is Adam McIntyre, and why does that matter?
Oh, that name rings a bell.
Oh my god.
Did he do something bad?
Let me remind you that on the episode with Xylee and Eva, Mitch was with us.
Yes, he was.
I wasn't even there, and I know more.
He was there.
I remember the episode that we had them on, Eva and Xylee, but I don't remember what we talked about.
Well, we're talking about a similar thing that we talked about on that episode.
Okay.
What was it about?
Oh, yeah. That guy. He got manipulated. Like Colleen. Colleen's the one. Hang on, no, now I remember. I didn't Google Colleen. No. Manipulate, that's the wrong word. Okay, I remember Colleen now. She's the one who did the live shows with the kids there, and she made adult jokes.
Okay, and
I didn't even Google that.
That's true.
And
that's fair. Yeah, good.
And then she sang the apology song.
Fair enough.
Okay, you're missing some things, but you're actually on a roll here. You know some things.
I just do the dot points.
Well, you
there
nailed
was group
it,
chats with underage kids.
Yes, that and Anna McIntyre was underage at the time.
I like that we're trying to groom Mitch into giving the actual story here. You know what I mean?
Well, that episode though was pretty crazy because Mitch said a bunch of slurs on that episode.
Oh, I didn't edit it, so I didn't edit. Yeah, I can't verify that, but I believe you.
Grooming F slurs.
I was there.
Oh God! Wait a minute! I just realized what Mitch just said. What the?
D-Max speaks slur code.
Moving on.
All right, what were we talking about? We're talking about the ex-husband, right? What's his name again?
Joseph. Joseph. Oh my God, Joshua, because I'm going to get Johnny and Joshua mixed up a lot.
Yeah.
I do it all the time, and I always have to correct myself.
Yeah.
So Joshua, how long was he dating Colleen Ballinger?
He was married to her. I don't know how long they were together, but I know they were dating. They were married.
With that, I think I remember hearing something like they were dating for like 9 years, and then they got married, and they divorced pretty quickly after that.
Yeah. She ended up like cheating on him, and apparently, well, from what he's saying, it was like an abusive relationship. But we don't know what exactly he's saying until the interview comes out.
Yeah.
They were together for 8 years, is what I just googled.
Okay. Has there been any sort of accusations against Joshua besides Johnny?
Apparently so. I wasn't concentrated on that, but apparently there was him some. Only thing I have seen now, I haven't looked into it because I wasn't when it came to Johnny's story, I didn't even want to look at it. I'm gonna be honest, because even I told you this, Matt, in like when we were in Discord talking. Mm-hmm. There was something about Johnny I didn't trust. Now I know Adam has talked to Joshua, the ex-husband. Adam has apologized to Joshua because he went at Joshua for Colleen when they he would troll him and stuff. So so I never looked into Joshua, but apparently there is some sussy stuff there. I don't know what it is. I haven't had a chance to actually go look.
Okay,
I'm gonna be honest.
So just to reiterate, what you're saying is Colleen Ballinger, when she got divorced, went into the group chats and got all of her stands to harass Joshua.
Yes, Johnny was one of them.
Yes, and he admitted to that too.
Yep.
In that interview, the 6-hour interview.
So apparently, it seems like Colleen Ballinger is a very petty individual that's really stuck on this whole T-channel personality,
which is weird, right? It's like she's the conductor of the toxic hate train or whatever. What'd she say? Toxic drama.
Toxic gossip train.
That's the one. I couldn't get that song out of my head, so I had to force it.
That's the whole point of okay, so I kind of look at that. Okay, so Adam was part of the Weenies chat, right? And I kind of look at the Weenies chat, and I know this may sound dumb, but I look at that Weenies chat as Colleen's chat with like the generals of her Colleen army. Okay? Yeah. Because those were the ones who would go out, fight for Colleen, and the other stands would go behind them and go fight whoever they're going to fight, because Colleen couldn't say the things she wanted to say, so she had those kids go out and do it.
Well, and to that point too, Johnny, it seemed like, was developing his own little following kind of based off of that little clique and niche. Yes. So he had everything to gain by, kind of continuing that relationship with her. And he was pretty candid about that in the interviews as well. So
he was
very. Now, let me play devil's advocate here. Is there any possible way Colleen Ballinger's just bitching about her divorce in the group chat, and then the fans take it a different way, and they go after Colleen's ex-husband? It's not Colleen saying go after him. It's them making this interpretation.
I would steelman that to say that if you're a bigger creator and you're amongst a bunch of children or borderline children in some cases, it's like, or at least, sorry, to clarify that, like people who are not fully fledged like legal adults, like you should know better, like not to have like, or at least to be responsible and say like, hey, don't go out and harass or whatever. Like, why is like, then my question, if that's true, Matt, then my question would be, why did Colleen feel the need to just like vent in front of like her audience?
And that's my thing. I don't know if Colleen actually said, I want y'all to go do that. However, she was the one adult in their life that treated them like adults. She would talk adult situations with them. She would bring in like sexual discussion, not like having sex with them, but like a sexual, like, this is how you put on a tampon. What's your favorite position, when Adam was asking for a video, like questions for a video that he wanted to do. So she's like the one adult that treats them like an adult. So when they see her hurting, well, she's like the cool adult friend, so we need to go out and protect her.
It's like the older sister thing. It's kind of sort of the persona she was trying to cultivate.
Aunt that you have,
which is funny, because now that I'm thinking about it, that's exactly what was laid at the feet of Joshua, right? Was like the bigger older brother thing. So it's kind of like they were both playing that behind the scenes.
Yes.
I will say, to answer your steel man with my devil's advocate, I would say that Colleen Ballinger is a community guidelines warning.
Wait, just the word?
No, with a community guidelines warning. What do we get a community guidelines warning for?
Oh, yeah.
I actually agree with that. Although, just saying, I agree.
I really community guideline warnings.
I respect them. YouTube.
Yes.
Community
Satire.
guideline warnings
Satire.
are the bane of my existence. Like
Well-
just every single time
They're
I
great.
type one.
No, they're amazing. Listen, YouTube is the best platform. There are no others.
Not
Please
satire.
don't hurt us.
Not satire. all right, so Johnny. All right, my first introduction to Johnny Silvestri was from you, Xylee. You showed me a couple screenshots of Johnny dropping DMs where I want to say either Colleen was sending nude pictures of Trisha Paytas to a group chat, and I had a lot of questions because I was confused on the interpretation of obviously doing that is thing to do, sending a woman's nudes. Whether she's an OnlyFans model or not, whether pictures are public or not, into a group chat to make fun of her. It's been done before, but the main thing would be Colleen started a podcast with this woman. I mean, that's a pretty up thing, very two-faced thing to do. My question
Well, they had
was,
been friends a while too.
yeah.
So-
My question really was to you, from what I'm remembering, is like, how do I know that like she's sending them to minors? And my whole thing was, I don't know if I really trust this guy. This guy is a red flag. That's how I remember it.
Okay, so come to find out, all right, the particular ones that he was showing, I don't think there were minors in that group chat. Okay, so that part, I have not seen proof of the group chat of minors seeing those. But it's funny though, because Johnny, come to find out, Johnny also sent them too. Now he was showing it one way. All right, he was showing it where Colleen would send them to him, but he actually sent them too. He actually told Swoop that he would go and look up like Trisha Paytas nudes and send them also.
Yeah. So he was doing the exact same thing as Colleen, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, that was what was most of that newest Swoop video, right? Was pretty much that, like, it's not like Johnny wasn't lying per se with a lot of the things that he was saying. It was more lies by omission and just so it's like, yeah, he got the nudes, but he didn't talk about how he also distributed them, and that was the lie.
Yeah.
Another thing about that video too, it was a lot of projection in that video.
In the interview, you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like my thing is, when did people start to realize that Johnny was not very truthful in his testimonies against Colleen?
Well, it was interesting. Go ahead. Sorry. Yeah, no.
No, go ahead.
I was pretty much just going to say it was interesting because I haven't seen the 6-hour interview, but I did see the clips of it that were put up in that Swoop video. And it's interesting because, like, just looking at I don't know her name, but the Swoop lady's like whole demeanor during that, it seems like she was kind of like the wheels were kind of turning in her head, and she was starting to connect the dots during that interview and going, something ain't right here, like something ain't kind of adding up, math ain't mathin' kind of a thing. So I wonder if maybe that was it for like a lot of people, because up until that point everybody was so focused on the Colleen allegations, they weren't even worried about like any of the Joshua stuff. They didn't even know the Joshua stuff was a thing, right? It was Johnny that kind of brought all of that up, to my understanding. Am I right, Xylee, or is that...
Well, here's my thing. I think quietly, a lot of people had issues with what Johnny was saying just on Twitter, because he turned around and he was like, he was groomed by Trent, Colleen's brother. Somebody else did some kind of grooming with
What the
him,
hell?
and so
how is everybody getting groomed? I don't understand.
Well, how is
Toxic
everybody
grooming train.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
It's like, how is everybody grooming him? All right.
Right.
Well, his overuse of the word grooming, and then if you started noticing, he was literally taking everybody's story and then twisting it where it was worse for him. Okay.
Yeah.
So behind the scenes, I think everybody was side-eyeing him, because if you notice, people who covered it, I noticed a lot of people didn't cover Johnny's very much, and I think that's the same reason. I think they did that for the same reason why I didn't cover Johnny's story, because something didn't feel right. You didn't know what it is. But here's the thing, though: you don't want to question it, because then you're questioning a victim.
Right. Well, I wonder if maybe it was the conundrum. Maybe if it wasn't for some creators, maybe that it just something smelt fishy. It could have been even too, because it seems like he was doing a lot of the same behaviors that he was accusing Joshua, and I guess by extension, Colleen for, right? Like he was engaging in a lot of these group chats and having video calls with, minors.
Yeah, but
and,
at the
like, doing
time,
all
none
sorts
of us
things.
knew that, though.
But that's what I'm saying is I wonder if there were some creators at least who had an inkling to that, or at least maybe
Maybe.
were hearing enough of because like there were the implication is that there were some people, at least on some of the subreddits and stuff like that, who were, unfortunately being silenced, but were at least like having that be known. So, I mean, what's the likelihood that some of these creators were getting DMs from these people and going like, listen, the amount of DMs I'm getting here are sizable enough to where at the very least, I just want to wait for like more. I'd be curious. I wonder if the flood, the dam will break and more of these people will be like, oh yeah, no, I always knew. It would be very awkward if they did that, which is probably why they haven't. But.
That's probably a good point. That's a possibility. Because with me, it was just an inkling. Because something wasn't right. Like, he was way too eager. Like, he was happy to tell you about all this supposedly crappy stuff that happened to him.
And the double speak in that interview is crazy.
Oh my God. It was so funny in that interview. Like, okay, say you have subject A, B, C, and D, all right? And y'all can talk about subject A, and by the time he got to subject D, he was telling on himself about subject A. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting what 6 hours can do to you when you lie as much as that. You can't tell your story.
God. Oh my God.
Also, too, and the thing is, like, I don't know if they would have caught it if he had just stopped there. If he had just done that 6 hour interview and didn't go on to do the other interviews with the other people, I don't think a lot of that would have kind of come out if he had just done that and then shut up. But the thing was, and Swoop did a great job of exposing this too, like, he was clout hungry. He literally was using this so that he could try to like launch his own thing. And I'm like, the one question I would want to ask the guy is like, how would that work for you? Like, okay, once this all goes away, right? Like once the story's out and like whatever it is, like fake you talk about or whatever, or like even if it's real, like let's say all of that gets done. Let's say Colleen gets destroyed. Let's say Joshua gets destroyed and it's just, it's bedlam, whatever. It's just everything's reset now. Now what? Are you really going to have like a whole career based off of this?
That's the thing about him. It was all about clout. Like he would tell, and I'm sorry, I believe Adam when he says this only because you could. I mean, well, not only, but I believe Adam when he said this because you could see how Johnny was on Twitter. He was like, "Oh, let me get a screenshot of that because that'll do well on Twitter."
Yeah.
Dude, you're a victim. Why are you worried about something doing well on Twitter?
He was doing like weird like optics plays. Like not even optics checks, just full-blown optic plays. It was weird. Yeah.
Yes, and then like when Adam would drop a video about something, Johnny literally within hours making a video about the same thing.
Yeah. What was it also about revenge as well with Joshua? Was there any situation where like Joshua ignored Johnny's advances? And so Johnny wanted to get Joshua back.
That's speculation.
I have a theory. I do have a theory, and this is the reason for my theory. Okay.
Spill the tea.
Joshua has apologized to Johnny 4 times. 4 times. 3 in the DMs, 1 public. Mm-hmm. Okay? And what he has apologized for is not being a good friend, not being a good mentor, not being like a good big brother-ish type of person. He never apologized for grooming. However, in his first apology, the one thing that he said in that first apology, at the very end, he talked about how Johnny's attachment was with him. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. Johnny was 17 years old 3 years in a row.
Yeah. That was weird.
It was amazing. He had a time machine.
Yeah.
I honestly believe in my heart Johnny had a thing for Josh.
I kind of got that sense too. I mean, especially because they, there was a lot of posts of Johnny would go out of his way to go to certain things and then get photos with Joshua so that he could post it on social media, and then later would claim to other people that they hung out all the time. And granted, now I think it infamously, I guess, Johnny did get Joshua's phone number on that like hat or whatever. It was like a paper crown, like during a thing. He tried to twist that into it being like like that was like the grooming, that was like where the grooming started or whatever. But he had left out the detail. Johnny left out the detail that his parents were with him and saw that happened and reacted to it and encouraged it.
My son is doing the damn thing.
Yep, that's what they said. They said, "Hey, he's doing it. He's making it," because the context for that was that Joshua just dropped out of high school, I think.
Yep.
Or was it college? Yeah, no, it was high school.
It was high school. He dropped out in the 10th grade.
Right. And then from that's why I guess they were, shipping him around all the different places where they were doing shows to try to get him to kind of network is what it would seem like. And then that was their reaction to that being like, "Hey, it's working. How about that? Good job."
Well,
so they were okay with it. So grooming, really?
Here's the things the reason why I said I think that, because I took notes. I took like well over 20 pages of notes, right? And here are the things that he said, and one thing that Josh said that made me think that Johnny had a thing for Josh. He was talking about how he would always go surprise him, that Josh and him had a coffee date, that Josh dumped him, that Josh ghosted him. He liked the attention. Josh was supposed to take Johnny with him. He still has the duct tape and the crown. He talked about how him and Johnny got to know each other at an intimate level, but yet they hardly knew each other, swear to God, in the same sentence. And he struck out with Josh.
Well, just
the
picking
terms he would use is like they were in a relationship and they broke up.
Yeah, just picking on one of those terms that you said. Hey, Mitch, or if you're here, okay, so if I came to you, Mitch, and I said to you, I said, Matt Pitt and I just had a coffee date. What would you think that was?
That you're
What would
gay.
you think that? Okay, yeah, you would think that we were like on a date, right? Like on a date.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just saying that like that verbiage of saying that is completely and totally ridiculous because the way he was phrasing it was making it seem like it was a private thing and like some undisclosed like coffee shop. This was in the middle of like a convention hall or something. This was like it wasn't a convention hall. Where were they? I think it was like a showcase. It was like an auto mall or something.
Yeah, he was doing an auto show.
Yeah, so it was like there was thousands of people all around. It was not a very intimate thing, and I believe their family was there too.
And when they went to dinner, when they went to dinner, the family was there.
Right, so that wasn't a date. None of that was a date, unless unless the family's implicated too.
The verbiage he would use to describe Josh, like he dumped me. That sounds like you were into him. I honestly believe, allegedly for entertainment purposes only, I believe Johnny had a thing for Josh. And I think there's, and this is all conspiracy. This is all conspiracy. There's a reason why he won't show those text messages. And I think it's either a bunch of Johnny texting him and Joshua not answering, or Johnny hit on Josh and Josh let him down.
Well, remember, Johnny, apparently, allegedly, he liked to drink. And what happens when you drink? You get a bit loose-lipped. What happens if you have... Yeah, exactly. You start telling the truth. You start, doing stuff that's a little bit maybe above your emotional pay grade for where you are currently. And maybe some of those messages might be, maybe a little bit racy.
No, exactly. And Matt, let me ask you this, okay?
What's up?
All right, say, you know what? We've known each other for a year now, right?
Yeah, a little over a year.
Okay, so in the DMs between you and I, wouldn't you say there's more than 20 messages?
Most definitely, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Between Josh and Johnny, there was only 20 messages in the several years they knew each other.
Yeah, that's basically, I would say that's like not close friends.
Not a mentorship. Certainly
definitely not a mentorship or a friendship or anything. Yeah,
no, like that's like a talking every other month probably.
And the funny thing is, a lot of it was Johnny saying something to him in the DMs, and Josh didn't answer back. Mm-hmm. And he tried to hide that from Swoop because she asked Josh for the DMs. Josh gave them to her, no problem. When Johnny gave them to her, he took things out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's really suspicious. It's very suspicious. Let's all right, just give me a quick bulletin. All right, so a lot of lies. What are all the other stuff that Johnny has done in the situation that really raises a lot of red flags?
From what I hear, it's a lot of background stuff. Like he would tell Adam that his story is more important. In the interview, DV is not as bad as what was it? What was it, D-Max? Sexual DV is not as bad as just doing it for emotional reasons.
Yeah, emotional.
Yeah.
It was the gaslighting. It was like just the fact that he would go around, like he was using other people's using other people's stories, like trauma stories, as a way to kind of embolden his, and then he would tie the credibility of his story onto other people's stories.
Yes.
But then he would also inflate his story to say that his story was the most important.
Right.
So it's like really strange. It was,
you can't believe, and if you don't believe Johnny, then you won't believe Adam.
Yeah. Also, from what I remember, apparently he was telling other people's stories to people that didn't want their stories out, for one. Two, that in their original stories, there weren't any accusations towards Joshua. They were just like... Yeah,
there was this one that he was telling, and the young lady is like, no, me and Joshua, we're fine. He apologized to me, and we're good.
Yeah.
Well, and that was something I think that everybody had tried to shake out, and any of the because Johnny had kept on saying that Joshua had groomed him, but when pressed about how or what are you talking, what are you saying, can you describe what that was, he would evade the question and he would point to things that were pretty identifiably not grooming. So I don't know. I didn't, like I said, there's a whole hour of that video that I didn't end up watching, but as far as I understand, at least allegations from Johnny to Joshua, none of them really stuck because there really weren't any.
Yeah. And apparently now Swoop has kind of brought up allegations adjacent to Johnny about grooming. I don't know if there's allegations against Johnny, but Johnny had a friend who was in a group chat, and apparently that friend was grooming some women. Am I wrong here?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so homeboy, it was his best friend.
Yeah.
And him and his best friend, they set up a tiny chat, and his best friend would get on there with underage kids, have talk, and actually get drunk. And sometimes some of the kids, not all of them, but sometimes a kid would also get drunk with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
Not at all. And Johnny was there for some of them. So, yeah, not good. Not good at all.
And how old was Johnny during this?
In his 20s.
His 20s.
Johnny, right now.
It was 25 too. It wasn't like it was 21 or something like that. No. He was well into 20s.
Johnny is 27 years old now, and he is still in a group chat with someone that he met when he was 21, 22 or something like that, when they were 13 years old.
Well, isn't the allegation too that he's still, and this is just an allegation, and maybe I did mishear this, so correct me if I'm wrong, but the allegation as I hear it is that he's still in group chats with minors.
Yes.
So it's if he's saying that because that was the thing, was that everybody was saying, well, Johnny, if you're claiming that Joshua groomed you, you're literally doing the same thing that you're because Johnny's thing is that Joshua groomed him by just being in a group chat. He's saying just that alone is grooming, is per his allegation.
Yes.
Therefore, you would have to say that Johnny is grooming these minors that he's in a group chat with.
Because he would go around and go on adults talking to kids. That is grooming. That is wrong. Bro, you've been in group chats with kids this whole time.
You're literally doing it. And to be fair though, I do remember at some point them saying stuff like he had gotten some advice at some point, and he had tried to pawn this off as this is what Colleen had said. They said that there could be, there can be if you're added to a group chat with a bunch of these people, there could be problems that arise for when you leave them, because it could be seen as rude, and then maybe it could cause a whole thing or whatever. Now, there's no evidence that Colleen actually said that, but I mean, I kind of get where he's coming from, except the thing is that if you're talking about saving your own skin, I'm sorry, dude. If you can identify that it's inappropriate to be in a chat with minors, just get the hell out of there. You don't need to you don't need to do this weird oh, I'll be in there, but I won't message. I'll just mute. It's just get out.
Why even being around that kind of community? Because
especially with all the allegations that are swirling around right now. Why would you even especially now?
Do people see themselves as, I guess, mentors of these 13-year-old girls? You got to teach them the
Oh
way
wait!
of the.
God.
Not girls. Oh wait! Johnny
Guys?
said
Oh,
explicitly.
yeah.
Johnny said explicitly in that interview. I know my sexuality. I don't want to be in the DMs with girls. I want to be in the DMs with boys. I mean men.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's literally a quote. Literally a quote.
That was word for word. That's
That
my
was
quote of the
cringe.
day.
That
Yeah.
was so cringe, dude.
Enough to MJ's up.
I will say this. Spanky put out a tweet on the 24th. All right. And she said, more victims have come forward privately, alleging that he, an adult, was inappropriate with them as minors, this time in person, beyond chats. The evidence they shared is deeply disturbing. I will never push someone to speak publicly, but if they do, please extend compassion.
Okay. So does this hurt Adam's case
No.
against Colleen?
No, I don't
Not
think
at
so.
all.
Because this is totally separate.
Yeah.
And also it doesn't I to my understanding, I don't think Adam really ever I think Adam was just showing support like he did generally to like all the other people who had come forward.
Yeah.
But it wasn't anything more specific. It wasn't like, oh yeah, no, he's 100%. Like, as far as I know, it's not like Adam was going after people that were going after Johnny. I don't know. Maybe that did happen, but
I think Adam was picking up. Okay, so when Swoop talked to Adam in that video, he was in Paris. All right. So around the time that he was in Paris, take that a couple of weeks back or several weeks back, Adam was already starting to pick up how Johnny was, but he really couldn't say anything because you're in the trap of he's a victim. So what can you really say?
especially since there were people who were literally getting banned from the subreddit for just like having any sort of dissent against Johnny, because the way that the Reddit mods were looking at it was that you were denying an abuse victim, of their story, of their truth, which is ironic, right? Yeah, exactly. It's ironic.
So, I mean, I can understand the sticky situation. Hence the reason why I didn't cover anybody's story but Adam's, because if I didn't cover Johnny, how would I look if I covered Oliver's and not Johnny's?
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to cover Johnny. I refuse.
Is it possible that Colleen could point at Johnny and be like, look, like, this is the type of stuff I'm talking about. Toxic gossip train. Here we go. Like, this is exactly it. Well, thank you, Swoop.
But the thing is that isn't Swoop the person basically that kind of broke all of that, at least with the 6-hour interview? So so I don't think that Colleen would be able to do that without getting a little bit of dirt on her, because it's like, hey, Swoop over here just trying to correct the record and has made a full-blown like, hey, what's going on with this guy?
I mean, at the end of the day, Colleen still sent a 13, 14-year-old a bra and panties.
Yeah, that's craziness, man.
Just saying. She still did that.
Yeah.
She still asked those questions in that group chat. She still showed kids by putting a tampon in her mouth how to insert a tampon, and would want them to take pictures with tampons in their mouth.
I mean, I've heard of cottonmouth, but this is ridiculous.
Oh my God, Max. But I mean, she still did all those things. This doesn't hurt this doesn't hurt Adam's story. Just like Cody Rants doesn't hurt Adam's story.
Right. Do you think
her stupidity?
I would say if I was Colleen Ballinger, I would probably use the Johnny stuff to get in touch with Adam and give that apology that Adam wants, and see if that could mend.
That's a damn shame. That's the whole damn shame about this, Matt. This whole time, all Adam has asked for was an apology, and Johnny got 4 from Josh.
Yeah.
He got 4 apologies, 3 of them private, 1 of them public. 4.
I mean, I guess from Colleen's perspective, I guess from Colleen's point of view, right? If you apologize, has she acknowledged this? I haven't really been following this too closely, so I don't know for Colleen.
She acknowledged something in 2020.
Okay. That would be a full acknowledgement, though. If she apologized to Adam, that would be a full acknowledgement of his story, right? So, I mean, I guess the calculus there is like, okay, she does it privately. I guess Adam would just stop talking about it in general. Wouldn't he have to say that, like, oh, well, she apologized privately?
Well, that would also be... You know what she has acknowledged? She is acknowledged by selling canceled sweatshirts and T-shirts at her shows. She acknowledged in her first episode, I think it was the first episode of her and Trisha's podcast, she had mentioned that she's going through a little controversy right now. She acknowledged that.
Yeah.
Right. So that's all she's really acknowledged.
Yeah. And
'Cause
the
I'm just
current
saying-
state, yeah.
I'm just saying, like, her apologizing to Adam would be legitimizing the entire story.
Yes.
And that's probably more than she wants to acknowledge it at all. She
Yep.
would just rather skate by without anybody really hearing about it that hasn't already heard about it.
But the difference is this time compared to 2020, she doesn't have big names backing her up.
Right. She's fallen from grace. So
Back in 2020, she had big names backing her up.
So you mentioned Cody Rance. What's the update on her? She around?
She's never left. Cody, okay, the thing about Cody Rance is when she quote unquote leaves, she never really leaves. Okay.
she's one of those.
She's one of those. She's watching everything. That's why every time I do a live stream about this whole story, I make it a point to say something to her because I know she's watching it. I know
many
for a
such
fact
cases.
she's watching it. So Cody, if you're watching this, stay away. Nobody wants you here. Just saying.
She wrote something on Swoop's YouTube channel, right?
Yes. Like, who cares, Cody? We do not care what you have to say, my dear. Nothing. We don't care what you have to say. You still did what you did.
I kind of think as like Cody and Johnny as one and the same in the sense that like I feel like they both were really trying to climb for clout. Like when Cody came out with her video on the whole situation, it was starting to blow her channel up. Like that was a huge video for her.
Yep.
And she was really like she was riding that wave for a while until you, Xylee.
I wouldn't say because of me.
Well, until your conversation, until like the meltdown she had, and she had the conversation with you, and like all this, it totally like stopped her like dead on like she could do
begging her
anything.
for like an hour to stop streaming.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then she finally just cut it off when I told her, I'll stay with you. Ugh. That chick.
Stay with me. Cut that.
No.
Cody Rance is known for, okay, so this is what Cody Rance is known for. She's known for saying something stupid or getting overly emotional about something and then leaving and then coming back and then saying something stupid or getting over emotional about something, then leaving, then coming back. She's left and come back like 5 or 6 times.
Oh, she's an internet Karen.
Yes. Yes. 100%. An internet woke Karen. Yes.
A lol Karen.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Lol Karen.
So what do you think is going to happen now? Has Johnny said anything? Is he going to say anything? What happens to Johnny?
Well, I did extend an invitation to him on Twitter and every live stream that I have done, and Johnny, if you're listening, at Xylee Gets Real on Twitter or X, whatever we call it now, or you can email me at XyleeGetsReal@gmail.com. I want to talk to you on a live stream, I'm pretty sure a lot of people will show up. So a lot of clout, bro.
Well, Xylee, not to spike the ball here, but like I am kind of curious, like what would be your number one question for him at this point?
Did you have a thing for Joshua?
Yes.
Ooh, okay. I feel like that does. I feel like that would answer a lot of questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have very, very specific questions for him.
Okay.
Where I can see where maybe it was a little out of line for Swoop to ask. You know what I'm saying? But, not so out of line now. I have questions for him. I have lots of questions for him.
See, this is the hard thing, and this is maybe my like where during certain parts of that video I was kind of like stroking my chin about this, being like, I don't know how you go about this because I understand like the pull to wanting to believe like, victims, people who are coming forward with like serious stories or whatever. But at certain points during like, certain clips of that interview, like it's the happiness, the elation that he has on his face when he's discussing certain things. You just would figure at some point, you would just stop in the interview and be like, what? Like I get it. You want to keep the interview going. You need it to. You got more questions you want to ask, and she probably had like a list of questions, and she was just going through them in the way. But like, and to her credit, the truth kind of came out afterwards. But like, just the way he was answering the questions and the emotion that he had on his face during that whole thing, I just feel like everybody should have known. Like, yeah, there's something up here.
You should have. Did you watch his interview with H3H3? I went over that on my channel, And same thing. You should have. First of all, one, he hogged the microphone. All right. Oliver and Becky barely had any time to talk whatsoever. All right.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Johnny show. Let me tell you.
Well, his story is the most important. So
absolutely. And he was so elated to tell you what happened to him.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's that is definitely the toxic gossip train. 100%.
Yes.
I am curious about the timing of that now, because like, this is probably nothing, but I am curious. Like what was the timeline? Like what came out first? It was like, was it that interview, that 6-hour interview? Did that come out before or after?
Well, the interview never came out. And I think, oh God, I want to say, no, I believe the 6-hour interview was after Colleen dropped her video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was curious.
Yeah.
I was curious if maybe there was a little bit of like, because I'm still trying to understand things from like Colleen's point of view, because it's easy to just be like, oh, she's like just evil and just lying. But I am curious if there's like some sort of like narcissistic pull to being like, no, but this is how I understand things to be. And I just don't like, so I was thinking maybe she was talking a little bit about like, Johnny coming around and being like all this, I realize she's talking about her ex-husband who she has no love for at this point, as far as I understand. But I just wonder if maybe that's kind of the swirl that she's looking at and just being like, yeah, all these people are terrible. Look at them all. They're just clout hungry. It's like, because you find one person and
I'm going to be very honest with you. I think Johnny picked up a lot from Colleen. And that is my own personal opinion. I do not know that for a fact, but it's my personal opinion. I think he picked up a lot of attributes from Colleen.
Including his alleged love for Joshua, right?
Right? Yeah, exactly. They shared that.
I'm telling you, I honestly believe that. And obviously it's alleged, obviously, but it's just the words that he used about Johnny, like they broke up, like, bro, what?
What if
coffee date?
What if Johnny just wants to be Colleen? Like at night, he just puts on a black wig.
Would you
looks in the
me?
mirror. Yeah, he looks in
The
the
way-
mirror, starts being the character.
The way he's acting now, or before the Swoop video came out, the way he was acting, I make jokes about how Johnny had Adam in a dirt hole and told him to put lotion on the skin so he could wear his skin.
It's just, it writes itself, man. It writes itself.
I just like
literally
my grooming story is better than your grooming story.
Yes,
There's nothing you can do about it.
That's how
weird.
he carried it, Matt. That's exactly how he's been carrying it. My grooming story is more important.
I mean, he literally said that. Like, he literally said that to Adam. He's like, well, mine's more important.
Like, bro!
Yeah, well, Colleen sent you underwear. Well, Joshua maybe wear a diaper.
Well, Joshua gave me my phone numbers in front of my parents, or gave me his phone number in front of my parents.
It's crazy. It's like, I think he attaches himself to people and he wants to become them.
Living in people's skin.
Really?
I think that community breeds people like that. I'm not trying to throw shade, but there's a lot of weird people in that.
Well, it's tied to like
Colleen?
Hollywood people. Well, it's Colleen, but it's not Hollywood people, Broadway people. It's tied to like theater people.
Yeah,
they're a lot more expressive. They're a lot more
The show business.
Yeah. It's not speaking in generalities here, but it's typically shallower people who are trying to kind of ladder climb. Not all of them.
Yeah,
but
because
some
you
of
gotta
them.
think, Colleen wasn't just YouTube. She went beyond YouTube. Like she was going to red carpet events, not YouTube related. She has Netflix specials still on Netflix to this day.
She's doing live shows the entire time.
She's doing live shows. She's done
She's a performer,
voiceovers for
full blown.
Hollywood. Yeah, she was like literally a celebrity.
Yeah, she was considered one of those YouTubers that like actually made it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
She sold her soul for a pair of underwear.
Yeah, actually. This story is literally becoming a Lifetime movie.
Yeah.
It really is. It's like this would be the way this story is twisting and turning, and you had somebody like Johnny in there. Like literally, if this ends up becoming a Netflix special like 5 years from now, I will not be surprised because it's craziness.
I just can't believe that there are still these group chats because, and this is my pure speculation, right? This is just pure speculation, not founded upon anything other than my intuition. But if Johnny is still in these group chats with the stands, with these fans, these ultra fans, and some of them being underage, I just don't feel like it's that far of a leap to just be like, well, maybe, possibly, you know, this Colleen lady maybe is still possibly doing this too. You know?
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe.
I don't know.
maybe.
I don't know.
I don't
wonder.
know either. I know she had when the stuff first broke out, she had just left the last group chat that was on Instagram.
Okay. And those
the
are more
Venus group
public.
chat there was a lot of them.
Are you in any group chats with fans, Ziley? That we need to
No.
know about?
I don't even like to talk to them in DMs.
Well, I'm in group chats with all my 17-year-old fans.
Oh, good lord,
No.
Matt. I thought the
Well,
allegations are going to come out against Beavers, but now...
when your time comes out, I'll try to be as nice as possible.
I'm gonna get ahead of it, bro. I was just joking with Joseph. I didn't want to see his really. Come on.
Oh my god.
Oh.
I will say shout out to Oliver and Becky and Adam and everybody else who was affected, where some of them were scared to come out about Johnny. One of them didn't come out about Johnny in Swoop's video because they pulled the story. They were like, I'm too scared. But then they ended up coming out, and I forgot their name, and I'm sorry, but they ended up coming out on Twitter and doing a whole thing about Johnny, a whole thread. You know, so shout out to all them. You know, don't let what Johnny did affect you. You're listened to. We got you. You know,
I agree. Like, and I totally agree with everything you just said. So I'm asking this, I guess, more from a rhetorical standpoint. Like, I guess my question is why? What do you believe that they were? Because I was unclear of that. Like, what were they worried about at that point from Johnny? Like
Johnny
was
known as a mean girl. Okay. And as you can see on his Twitter, he was a mean girl. Okay. Yeah. And I think some of these people, because of the situation they got in as younger people,
right.
That pull of, I don't want Johnny calling me out. I don't want Johnny to be a mean girl to me.
He was slinging audience too. I mean, it's not like he was. So I guess maybe it was just worry of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's exactly what it was, which I get. I understand that.
It makes sense.
I mean, somebody's going to be mean to me, and somebody's going to be, saying things that I don't want them to say. And
you're not a public person. You're not used to that level of attention.
Right.
Even, so yeah, I get it. That's all right. Yeah.
You know. So, there was one situation with Joshua that Johnny tried to call him out for, that he had told this 15-year-old girl, that picture turns me on, right?
Yeah.
And what it was actually was, okay, inappropriate to say to a 15-year-old, yes. Don't even know if he knew the person was 15. I don't know. I don't remember. But the profile picture that she had at the time was a picture of Joshua. So he was saying that about a picture of himself.
Oh, that makes way more sense.
So
the joke is kind of understandable. He's like, yeah, that turns me on. That was a picture of himself.
He's not a pedophile. He's a narcissist.
Yes.
You know what's funny? Sorry, this just popped in my head. But you know what's really funny? There's an attraction at Walt Disney World. It's the Country Bears, and there's a and this is Walt Disney World, right? There is an attraction currently there right now that is operating full functioning. There is a song in that attraction that says, "All the guys that turn me on, turn me down." It's a bunch of women talking about men, where they're just like, "All the guys that turn me on, turn me down." So I'm just like saying, like, I don't know. It's just like, I guess that kind of lives in that sort of nebulous zone where, because like, given that context that you just said, I don't know. I wouldn't immediately go to like, oh, that's grooming. Like he's trying to get in
and
with
that's
this.
the thing. Johnny can never give a reason on how he got groomed. Like, you explained to me how, first of all, you get to know somebody intimately, but yet you barely knew each other. Those two are direct opposite. Then, if you barely knew each other, how did he groom you? Because the whole point about grooming is they get to know you. They get you to put your guard down.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Dates didn't line up. Just logically, it doesn't line up.
He said he was 17 when he came out to Josh, right? No, he was 4 days from being 19 when he came out to Johnny and told Johnny he was gay.
Well, yeah, like you said, he was 17 for 3 years.
Yes, he was 17 for 3 years straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, idiot.
He's a liar.
He's a liar.
So there is something on the horizon. I guess Swoop is doing an interview with Joshua.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Oh, with Joshua, really?
Yeah.
Yes, I am uber excited. Oh yeah, you see it at the end that within the last hour she kind of shows that she's going to be doing that. But yeah, I'm so excited to see it because one, I want to know about the sussy stuff. But two, I want to hear what he has to say about what Johnny's been going around saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my understanding for Joshua is that everybody's looking sus at him for, obvious reasons, but then he seemed like he was pretty forthcoming in at least the stuff that he did provide, and he wasn't being shady like Johnny was, deleting things, and then oh my god, that was an incredible part of the video where she literally puts the two screenshots side by side of the messages and goes through, and it's bad for Johnny. He deleted the first message that he sent to Joshua to imply that it was Joshua that reached out to him first rather than the other way around. That context just in and of itself, like just if you just had that screenshot, I'd be like, this is sus. Because like that's such a gross manipulation of the facts to be able to like paint a narrative. It's just gross.
Look, what I said in my last live stream, I was like, look, okay, I don't know about the sussy stuff with Johnny or with Joshua, and if he's been sus and he's done some bad stuff, okay, fine. But what we're not going to do is we're not going to live on a lie about this man. It is obvious he did not groom Johnny, and I actually feel very good in making that statement just because of the words that came out of Johnny's mouth and what Johnny. How did he groom him when they only had 20 messages within, a couple years? I mean, come on.
I mean, I don't know if this is too racy to joke about, but like, if Johnny here was groomed, he's still pretty happy about it. So, he's
Just
still in
saying.
the process of being groomed. Do you know what I mean? Like,
You probably wish he would have been groomed further.
he's like, damn it, why did it end? Why did it have to end?
Yes, because remember, he dumped him.
Yeah.
Remember, Joshua was supposed to take him with him.
Damn it.
He was supposed to take Johnny with him.
Hate to have it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Hate to see
I
it.
do not believe that story. To me, he was not groomed by Josh whatsoever.
Yep.
No.
And I have every faith in saying it.
Yeah, I think Johnny is exactly the kind of person you got to look out for. Do you think it will one day will it be okay? You think the side will concede on it's okay to ask an accuser questions about the situation? Is it okay to show slight doubt at all at some point?
Well,
like you always fall into this trap where they say stuff and you're like thinking in your head, maybe I don't know, but I'm afraid to say something because I don't think it'll fucking they'll all turn on me.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I think because I'll tell you this much. Like I really enjoy. I've never seen a Swoop video before in my life. This is my first interaction with this content creator. I was a little bit like being who I am with my lived experiences and all that stuff, right? And I'm not saying I'm right, but like just as a viewer of the content, I was a little bit frustrated because I did feel like there was about 30 minutes of that video that could have been cut, but I understand why it had to exist. There was a good 30 minutes of it where she was just like, listen, I understand, abuse. I understand, grooming. I've had this, all this stuff, like, trying to like say like, hey, this is the context of it. This is the trigger warnings and all that stuff. I understand why it needs to be there, especially for, I think, the community that she's in.
Yeah. With
There's
the
a responsibility.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is I think especially with some of the things that we've, had at least in our community, where people are faking that their mom's dead or faking that they had a baby that died.
Yeah.
It's like those types of things. I think that at least for maybe people like us, maybe not so much people like Swoop, but for people like us, I think that there's a little bit more of especially if we cite those cases at the time and be like, listen, we're not trying to like, do anything to you. We just want to make, because the thing is, if you challenge one of these victims' stories and they're able to provide proof to what your challenge is, that emboldens their story and makes it better. So I think if it's approached from that angle, I think that would be a net positive.
I want to ask a couple questions without getting my head bit off. That's all.
I know.
Yeah,
that's
same.
the problem.
Same. Yeah. But, and that's why I never talked about Johnny because I knew what would happen. And being that I'm coming off of a controversy anyway, I was like, I'm just not going to cover it.
But it should be okay to ask those questions because, all right, this is what everybody's afraid of, right? You start asking questions about Johnny, then you think, well, Adam's going to have to defend Johnny because then they have the same, they're going after the same person, so they got to defend each other. So Adam's going to be coming after me, then this person's going to be coming after me, then this person's going to come after me. I'm going to be like the bottom of the barrel. But what you guys have said already, you've said this story, Johnny's lies, alleged lies, does not hurt Adam's story at all. So why can't I ask questions to Johnny without having fear of anyone else?
that was the problem, though, is that a lot of people were kind of tying them together erroneously because of what
because
Johnny was saying.
Yep,
Yeah.
because of what Johnny was saying, he was tying himself to Adam.
Yeah, so I agree with you, Matt. Like, logically speaking, there should be no reason why these two are connected this way.
Yep.
I'm going to be honest. I think a big part of the problem here was like whatever that Reddit was where people were asking questions and were being like terminated. It's like, listen, I get it. We don't like, you want to provide a space that makes it so that if there are other victims, they can come forward and they feel comfortable with doing so without getting lambasted by all, you know, the snarky snarkersons, you know, on the internet or whatever. But like, but there is some level of due diligence that needs to be had, especially with somebody whose story is as flimsy as Johnny's was. Like that's, I think the thing is, it just depends on like, because if you're looking at Adam did a whole stream where he went through all of the messages, scrolled through them like tediously.
I watched it. Yes,
so,
he did.
So the proof is all there. It's like, if you want to question that, it's like, I don't know, good luck. A lot of that is pretty ironclad, unless you're going to question, like, did he make up the entire interaction? Which, come on. I mean, he didn't, you know? So I don't know. I guess it's a case-by-case or issue, but it's just there are certain communities. It depends on the community. I guess it just depends on who's saying it.
And quite honestly, I didn't want to deal with the shit from Twitter, because Twitter, they will go into active mode. Oh my God, you're questioning. There were
doxings. There were doxings involved with this stuff. I mean, it got nasty apparently. So
yeah. So I didn't want to deal with it. I was like, I'm just going to cover Adam.
Can you imagine being one of the people that doxed like the dissenters, and then you see this next swoop video and you're like, oh, oopsie.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
Oh my God. Some of the funniest stuff was when Johnny, he tweeted out like maybe 3 or 4 days before Swoop's video dropped. Johnny at this point thinks the video is all about him and how he got groomed by Josh. And he was like, oh my God, I just feel like when this Swoop video comes out, it's going to be a whirlwind. Ooh. Yeah, it sure was, Johnny.
That's funny.
It sure was, buddy.
That's funny.
I will say one thing about Swoop, aside from all the virtuous stuff in the video. No offense, not my kind of bag. That being said, if Tom Dark made this video, nobody would have listened. No one in that community would have listened. So Swoop making the video helps a lot, because it's her community. It's like, she's within that community. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, where we're from, I stopped doing what is it called when you use like trigger warnings? Yeah. Stopped doing trigger warnings like a year ago. All right. Yeah. Hey, listen, I don't want any. I want adults in my chat. I don't want kids. And if you can't handle the subject, please leave. I mean, you can come back at another subject, but go if it's not good for you.
You can come here. We'll get in a group chat together. Let's go.
Oh my God. But I don't do those trigger warnings. But over there in that community, that's what they do. So yeah, with the tone of the seriousness of it, I can understand Swoop getting the message out there.
When you give the trigger warning and you say what it's about, doesn't that in itself possibly trigger the thing that you
that's the problem. And that's why, honestly, I've seen some creators on that side of things that now give trigger warnings for trigger warnings. They will literally say like a good 10 minutes before they actually talk about anything. They'll be like, there are trigger warnings in this video. I've even seen creators say TWs instead of trigger warnings, because just the term trigger warning is a trigger.
Is triggering.
It's ridiculous. I stopped doing that probably about a year ago. But to
discipline your minds.
I guess now that I'm thinking about it, though, to Swoop's defense a little bit too, I think there is a little bit of an optics play there, in the sense that like now it's like people who maybe wouldn't be willing to listen to that because of the cognitive dissonance that comes with it. If she spends the ample amount of time to say, listen, I love you guys, I appreciate you guys, this isn't denying anybody's experience, trigger warning, I'm very sorry about all of this, but this is the truth. If she spends a good amount of time, it kind of eases those people into it, where maybe they would now be able to.
Well, I know,
it made me crazy.
Though.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something though. D-Max has a point, and that's why that interview went 6.5 hours, because she's so comfortable to talk to, and she makes you feel so comfortable. He told on himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I can't knock the game. I can't knock the player, I guess. She did really well.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely would say Swoop's pretty talented. Not my kind of content, but the stuff I've seen, pretty good. I would put her with Aiko, though, to avoid her at all costs.
I'm about to ask her, does she, I would love to talk to her and interview her. She follows me on Twitter. I didn't know that. I didn't know she followed me. I went to go to her Twitter because I wanted to find that tweet about like the alleged more victims of Johnny. And I noticed she followed me, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. That might be easier for me to ask her. Can I talk to her?
Yeah.
Well, I hope this drama keeps going, and you keep making streams on it, and I hope no one. I hope. What? Hold on. Let me rephrase this.
Yeah.
I hope the grooming stops. I guess. I almost said I hope. I hope everyone.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
Well,
I was
about to say I hope no one was groomed, but then that would say that would be well, Adam's lying. So no, I'm not. But I also can't say I hope everyone was groomed because
it's a lose-lose thing.
Yeah,
the thing is I hope this story has an end because I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't even watched the second Swoop video because I got burnt out. Remember when I told you I got burnt out, Matt? I didn't want to touch the story at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to touch it because I got burnt out. I still haven't seen the second Swoop video.
There's a lot of details. It's a lot of. It's very thick.
Yeah, I still need to go back.
I can't remember which one it was. There was one issue I had in one of the Swoop videos where she was talking about the Netflix series, and I don't know. There was just some stuff she said where I don't even want to talk about. I don't want to quote her because I don't remember it well. But there was something. I'll just say there was something when she was talking about the Netflix series where I was just like, I think you're laying it on a little bit thick. But that's my opinion, all right?
It might be in the second video. I haven't watched the second one. I need to go back and watch it. But no, I had to take a break from this story. I did. I had to take a break because it was getting overwhelming for me. And I was like, no, I got to step back. But then Johnny had to mess up the way he messed up. And I love to catch a liar. So let's go.
Yeah. It was interesting when Swoop had talked about kind of becoming a part of the drama, on accident, kind of stumbling back, like becoming a part of it herself by doing that 6-hour interview and then having Johnny go around and be like, oh no, you can't criticize me. If you have any questions, you should just go watch this interview, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Did they have any toilet breaks in that? That's a long time.
Well, I'm sure they did.
But they pissed in cups.
But Johnny was going around behind the scenes going, yeah, I'm more important because Swoop talked to me for 6.5 hours. And people would ask Adam, how long did you talk to Swoop? And he was like, 45 minutes. Why? Because Adam could give answers and straight answers and,
Does that mean there's a possibility in this interview during the 6 hours is gee, I'd love to sit around and talk about grooming, but I really got to go take a and I'll be right back.
Oh my God, Mitch. Here's the funny part. The Joshua interview, and Swoop did this on purpose because you know how Johnny went around bragging his was 6.5 hours? She talked to Johnny for 7. I mean, she talked to Joshua for 7.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yep. This is why no one knows what's going on the internet. There's too much time.
Why would you want to brag about a 6-hour interview? With me, I'd be I want to go.
because he got to talk to Swoop for 6.5 hours. It's all about clout.
I will say this though. I mean, just narratively or I guess optically speaking, if the pull for that play was to nuke Johnny's whole thing about being on the stream for 6 hours or interview for 6 hours, it's isn't she now giving whatever the accuser the more amount of time? So couldn't people kind of twist that, I guess, if they still believe Johnny's stuff? I don't know, man. This interview is going to be really interesting now, given that context, because I mean that's more than enough rope for Joshua to hang himself too. I don't know if I can say that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so excited for this interview. I cannot wait, and I hope it's not 6 hours long because I'm not sitting down for 12 hours and reviewing.
I think what all of this teaches us is we should never trust men named Johnny.
No,
that's a very dangerous name.
Yeah.
Wait, is it? Why is it a dangerous name?
It's a dangerous name.
Have you heard of Johnny Bravo? He essays women in cartoons.
Yeah, it sweeps the leg. There's
terrible.
You just can't trust Johnny, bro.
No, you can't.
Well, there's a new term now. They're calling it Johnny got swooped.
That's funny.
What's
funny?
Wasn't
Johnny the one that did the betraying in the room?
In the what?
The what?
The Room, the movie.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah.
How's that feel?
That is a Room reference. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I don't
Tommy
either.
Wiseau.
Yeah, how's it feel? Talk about normal shit.
Oh, The Room. Oh, that.
The movie, The Room.
Yeah, The Room. The movie. You know, cinema. Leaving the house.
Oh, don't you dare say cinema to talk about the Room.
It is cinema. Just not the right type of cinema.
It's big cinema.
I never thought in a million years I would meet someone that's worse than Willie Mack. I swear to God, Mitch. You're worse than Willie.
Well, yeah,
Literally.
well, he's doing all right.
Yeah, Mitch, you're being compared to Willie Mack. That's a W, dude.
I know.
In the worst way.
Oh, seven.
In the worst fucking way.
In the worst way. Not in a good way. In the worst way.
You're doing
we're
great.
saying all of Willie Mack's flaws are basically you, but worse.
Jesus
Are you calling me a fat Willie?
No, you're calling yourself a fat Willie.
I mean, fat and short Willie, yeah.
Do I have to
Anyway,
censor
hell
that? I don't even know anymore.
I don't know.
Shout out Willie Mack. Love Willie
Yeah.
Mack.
Well, Xylee, you got anything else for us before we let you go?
That's
All right.
it.
Well, you can check out Xylee on her streams and shows. Xylee Gets Real. And you can also check out the broadcast where she has a podcast with Mystic, Rennie, Bunny, and Eva. So
Hell
they've been
yeah.
doing a lot of work there. They're over 1,000 subscribers. They're monetized.
Yeah.
They're ready to go. So you can check those out. Usually they do a live stream an hour before we go on at like 10 p.m. Eastern on Mondays. And then what's the other day?
Wednesday at 6.
All right. Take it easy, Xylee. Have a good one.
All right,
Coming
peace
up.
out.
Thanks,
Bye.
Ali.
Bye.
All right. So,
So, Mitch, summary.
Summary?
Yeah.
Well, in summary, I think that if you go into a bunch of group chats with minors
Mhm.
and you commit grooming, like, you're going to end up getting litigated and
Yeah.
going
Oh, yeah.
bankrupt
For sure.
and just being absolutely f***ed. And so if you go in these group chats knowing that result, that would make you bad with money.
True.
Those who are also bad with money, Stefan Corbino. Matt, did you get me to do this because you know I can't f***ing read when I'm nervous?
read the names.
I didn't even know I was queuing up for that.
Corbino, Mame, Fresh Brewski, Fanfiction Narrator, Everborn, Panic Pun, Always Zero, Strictly Patrick, Reynold Hughes, Echo of Tragedy, Albie Blackbird, K-Huck, and Joe, aka Mr. Bramy Umley. Also,
I almost
Matt,
want to
Did you pass this off to me? Because this list is getting longer.
It is getting longer.
Is that when you were like, I'm out?
No, it's just
it's not my
you
job
didn't. No, it's time. It's time for you to do some stuff, Mitch. You know, and you're gonna be the bad
I
with
do
money guy.
this stuff. I do the streams.
Well, you know who else does stuff is all of our fabulous artists that make our thumbnails for us, and you can find all of their links in the description of the YouTube video. So please go hire them to make your art needs, profile pictures, thumbnails, art assets, stream stuff. They're great. Go check them out.
Hell yeah! And remember, now recording's always recording. Good one, guys.